Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Abundant OD podcast. My guest today is Dr. Irina Schawaroch, owner of Aspects Eyecare in HAW PAWG, New York. She has a really wide range of clinical experience and has worked alongside pediatric ophthalmologists and cataract surgeons before striking it out on her own just 6 months ago. She also gives back to the community, oftentimes fostering with the Guide Dog Foundation in Smithtown, volunteering for her daughter's Girl Scout troop, as well as a lot of other activities, team sponsorships. She's a real giver just in the short amount of time that I've been able to speak with her this morning here. Already learned that. So Dr. Irina, thank you so much for being with us today.
Good morning, and thank you, Dr. Eric. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you bet. So quick note, just to clarify, and it's completely fine. I'm not a doctor, so I just don't want to take that. I just don't want to take that title when, or accept it when I haven't earned it. So no worries though. So tell us a little bit, since your decision to kind of strike it out on your own came to fruition just a short time ago. Talk to us about kind of a little bit how you got into the profession, but then what made you decide it was time to move in your own direction?
So I started working for my optometrist when I was in high school, my junior year of high school, and I loved it ever since. So I stuck with him through college and optometry school. And then when I got out of optometry school, I just found a passion for every field. So I went into a cataract surgeon's office and I worked with him in a pediatric surgeon's office and lots of other opticals and lots of other offices all around town in New York City. Fast forward a couple of years later, start the family, have the kids, move out east in Long Island to HAW PAWG area, and then working at opticals, kind of finding my footwork, and I just missed doing that full medical, treating patients all day long of everything, and that's when I decided to start my own thing.
Awesome. Very good. So a lot of times when we as business owners kind of start out or make that decision, you had mentioned a little bit, I think, but is there like a bigger mission behind, who or what you're looking to serve, like what kind of change you want to see? Could be for your community or for the industry, but do you have any like passions or things you're striving towards in that respect?
Absolutely. So around here, we have a lot of big private equity owned ophthalmology groups where people feel committed that they have to go to. And they sit there for 3 hours and they see a doctor for 8 minutes, and then they feel like their questions weren't answered or they didn't understand what they just went through. So I am committed to give them the time to sit and talk with them, make that diagnosis, follow through on their problems and issues and see them back, and really just get to know my patients, get to know their families and take care of them, and not just a factory of in and out all day long.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, well, it's that building relationships with them that I think is a huge difference maker in a lot of professional service, professions, but especially yours in the medical fields. It makes a huge difference. I can't think of too many things more frustrating than sitting through a meeting with the doctor and not knowing what the result of it was. Like,
Right.
truthfully, except for maybe, since I am a CPA, second place would be sitting through a meeting with your tax person and not knowing what the heck happened there either. But that's
Exactly.
definitely second or third to health. So, no, that's great. So thanks for sharing. So as you are going through this and, starting the practice, what have been some of the toughest challenges in kind of taking your ideas for, how a practice should operate and what the experience should be like? What have been some of the toughest challenges in bringing those ideas into reality?
My toughest challenge has just been getting the word out there to the public that we're here and the mission that we bring to this neighborhood. So that's been the hardest thing, is just finding the right way of getting the word out to people to bring more people in.
Yeah, because you were mentioning there's already a lot of, you said, private equity owned practices around. And did you say, I can't remember the exact words you used, but you were saying something about how people felt, are they just more, those practices just really more ingrained in the community so that people like those are the top of mind ones still, and you're working to break through that?
Yes, even when you go to your primary care visit, they always say, oh, go to see an ophthalmologist, even if it's routine eye exam or things like that. So kind of saying that here I am, we can do the same thing. We can bring the same, level minus the surgery and things like that of care to the patient without having to wait a long time. And that is the hardest thing to kind of push people out of that mindset that they have to constantly go to the ophthalmologist. So I'm getting out to all the primary care offices, to the specialty offices around here. Just let them know that, you know, we can do that here. We can send them that report. We can take care of those patients as well.
Yeah, I think that really goes a long way, especially in a age of what we're living in with like online marketing and, you know, AI generated everything for marketing, it seems like anymore. It's like getting out and just doing the old fashioned, you know, making contacts, connections, building relationships with even those other primary care providers, be able to get more folks into your practice, or at least to build the awareness, right? And so that you start becoming that top of mind person. Very good. A little bit about the challenges then. Let's turn the page, and what is more of a like a victory or real success that's been meaningful to you, and this could be at any point in time in your career, but it could be involve Aspects Eyecare or anywhere else you've worked. But what's a victory or success that's been real meaningful for you?
You know, now that I have kids, the biggest victory and the biggest success is that my kids are so proud of me and look up to me, and sometimes my biggest cheerleaders of everything. So that's been a really great success. But it's just amazing to learn and continue to bring more to the people. The science is ever evolving. I constantly learning more and more. The way we treat people is constantly changing. So I love that I get to bring that back to the community. I get to bring in that education, bring in the newest technology. And that's been so exciting.
Yeah, for sure. I was looking at your website earlier, and I happened to notice the great little promo reel that's on, I think it was on your website, that I think had your kids in it, right?
Yes.
It's like
Yes.
junior opticians in training, and
Yes, yes. My kids love it. They, you know, on their school projects, it says, what am I going to be when I grow up? An optometrist. And my daughter loves when there's kids in here, she'll help them pick out glasses. It's fun, but they're proud of what I've created, and it's a proud moment for me.
Yeah, that's great. So what is when you're talking about, you know, on your journey, again, either before private practice ownership or now, do you have like a piece of advice you'd give to others who are on their journey of perhaps practice ownership?
Giving others advice, I would definitely say work with consultants to help you get through this. There's just so much unknown out there, and there's so many people that'll be out there to help you in different communities and networks. So take advantage of everything that you can, because there's just such great resources out there.
No, that's great. It's always great to bring back up, because I think again, I see it in a lot of professional service providers, licensed professionals and doctors, where I think we're all a lot more similar than what sometimes we realize, in that, you know, either like from my experience as a CPA, yours as a doctor, and having that sense of like, you know, sometimes we feel like we've gone through all the schooling and training and experience, and like we should have most of the answers, or at least be able to find them on our own, right? So kind of what a professional does in our own lane, right? Is we either know it already or we can find it. And a lot of times when you're breaking out like business ownership, you know, sometimes the answer is really like you can't find the particular answer. Like, so just being able to change that mindset, realize it's there, awareness of the mindset, so you can kind of change that, work on it, so that so that asking for help is definitely not a bad thing, right?
Yes.
Especially in areas where you don't possess that particular expertise.
Correct. I know how to be a doctor. I know how to sell glasses, but the other parts in between, I had to learn a lot. And it doesn't come from a book. It doesn't come from, you know, Google search. So things you have to learn from your community and from other like-minded people.
Yeah, for sure. So you're telling me in optometry school, they don't take you through like entrepreneurship 101 and how to file your tax return and how to create an LLC, like all the legal stuff, and how to deal with insurance companies? No, I'm just
no, that should be a whole year of its own.
They should have like an additional, like, if you're happy working for others, this is where you can stop. But like, here's your supplemental private practice guide. But I think the way we do it with professionals and resources is just as good, as long as you know those resources are available. So thanks for bringing that up. That's
Correct. Yes.
Really good and impactful. All right. Any other thoughts or ideas you want to broach while we're together?
I think we covered everything.
Oh, awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Irina, for your time. I appreciate it. I know you're very busy. And so thank you for coming and sharing these things with our guests. And we'll hopefully talk to you again here soon.
Great. It
Have a
was
good
my
day.
pleasure. Thank you.